So yeah, guys, One Piece is back. How are you guys doing? March 24th, 2024. That was the last time the chapter dropped officially. We kind of read it before then, but we're back. We made it. We survived. Something I didn't think we were going to do, but we finally did it, boys and girls. And so we have One Piece to look forward to. So partially a prediction, partially a quick recap, partially throwing some theories at the wall, and partially talking some good old-fashioned One Piece. God, it's good to be back. Guys, we've been enjoying the One Piece anime since the One Piece manga has been on break, but a really banger episode. If you haven't watched Lucci versus Luffy Gear 5, link is below. You can just go to Crunchyroll, but I'd rather just click the link below. We reacted to it. It is a masterpiece. They also had a recap in regards to Lucci versus Luffy. Not something for us diehards read the manga. We probably reread or rewatched Lucci versus Luffy back then so many different times. Zoro versus Kaku, so we're not going to do that. So the anime has been doing a great job. But what about the manga? What's going on with the manga? So we talked about it, Oda's break going on it. The whole point of it was for him to just take a break, low-key promote some of his other stuff, but also figure out what the One Piece is. Now, there's some misinterpretations because some people are saying, well, I kind of interpreted it as Oda saying, I'm going to try to figure out what the One Piece is, but I think it's more along the lines of figuring out just the future of One Piece. So taking these breaks, I think these are going to be annual going forward, where Oda just takes a month off and just resets, reloads, and comes back with a bang. So chapter 1112, I expect it to be a banger. Now, where were we, right? Because it's been a month. Some people don't go back and reread One Piece. I have. In the past, I did a thing where I recapped all of Egghead. And so maybe I might just do part 2 tomorrow. We'll see. The past few chapters, the whole point of where we are now is essentially the countdown. Yes, we're at that stage in the arc where Oda throws the countdown in. He raises the stakes a little bit. And so now we're fighting against the clock. It's somewhat the inverse this time because we have to protect the countdown. So whatever's happening, we have to protect that. Typically, there's something that we have to stop, right? Onigashima, the birdcage, the bomb. This time we have to stop them from stopping it. So it's a nice little twist. With this scenario, it's led to so many different talking points. So many characters have been brought to the front to say, hey, we have questions about your motives and your actions or inaction, which starts us with Dragon. Now, Dragon, for the most part, has been slandered for the most of 2024 and honestly 2023. The Kuma backstory, a lot of people looking at Dragon like, hey man, why can't you be this cool? Look at him. He's just so adorable and he just got Dragon, just sitting around not doing anything. Like, I'm not going to use the typical meme I'm not going to do that because it's been beaten to death. Kind of like the Zoro racist meme, you know? Like when they say Zoro, if it's somebody brown, he gets the power up. Like, where the heck did that even start? Insanity. But Dragon, here are my questions for Dragon. Here are my expectations, rather. Dragon, I expect you to know something about what's happening now. If you're just completely in the dark, knowing that Shaka mentioned you at the beginning of the arc saying, hey, Dragon, I'm gonna die soon, but you had no idea about this message or what was gonna be announced, I have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with Dragon's inaction. I would have a problem with Dragon's ineptitude, which is different. For me, I don't look at Dragon saying, yo, go be Luffy or go be Garp, because you have different levels of responsibility. You cannot fall, or if you do fall, who else picks up the mantle? Because for the most part, it's on the back of Dragon. He is the face. To some, because it's changing, he is, I would say, the engine of the revolutionaries, and they all follow him. The crazy part about Dragon is people somewhat questioning why Dragon is respected, even though all our favorites, Sabo, Ivankov, Kuma, Hack, they're all telling us, hey, we follow Dragon to death's door because he is legit. We don't need any more proof than that. The people we respect and believe, they follow him, so I am willing to wait. One of the craziest things, I never thought I would ever have to tell One Piece fans to have patience. What? I get it. We're over 1,000 chapters in, but guys, if Dragon knew about Vegapunk and knew about this entire operation, I'm gonna say kudos. Not gonna lie to you. Next, the Goray. They're all here. They're all attacking, trying desperately to stop this announcement. What could possibly come of this? What could they say that the Goray is so scared of? Well, shout out to my boy, The Hidden Island. We had a conversation on the podcast episode, link below if you want to check it out on Patreon. You know, shameless plug. We talked about the possibilities, and something that came up was the name of the ancient kingdom, and that Vegapunk is carrying on the will of Professor Clover, right? He was his good friend. He researched it. He definitely cared about Ohara. So what's one thing the Gorosei could be scared of because they killed Professor Clover when he hinted that he was about to say the name? I think it's more than that. It's not just a name, because something as well that gets lost, but it doesn't, but it's something that I have to point out, is that Vegapunk has an audio channel active and a video channel active. We're just going to layman's terms. I know people are like, well, that's not exactly. Shut up. You know what I'm talking about. He has both active, but he's giving people time to set up. I think we're down to 7 minutes. He's giving people time to set up so they can see the visual as well. So this tells me Vegapunk doesn't only have an audio message, he has things to show the people as well. I think there's a twist that could be happening where he's tricking the world government by saying, hey, I have something to tell you and show you. They pull up, try to stop it, and then he flips the switch on them. All of a sudden, the broadcast is now live and they see exactly what's going on in Egghead, and they see the world government trying to destroy Vegapunk and destroy Egghead. They're like, wait, what? Who are those guys? Oh, those are the Gorosei. Those demonic looking things, those people, they're at the top of the world. You thought it was just them? No, hey, here's a picture of the guy who's actually at the top. This is Emu, right? Emu from House Narona, right? It's just, it would completely break just people's perception. Even the kings, right? It's an empty throne. There's nobody that sits there or hope to sit there. No, somebody's already sitting there. It would completely break everyone's expectations, and I would love the chaos that comes from that. Next, Luffy. Where do we go from here? Because I know Gear 5 is holding off all the Gorosei, and I'm hoping that Gear 5 lasts long enough to hold him off, just long enough, because here's the thing, right? Here's the question. Does he hold him off long enough for the message to start? Or do we have to hold him off long enough for the message to start and end? Because if the message starts and we don't get the entire message and they manage to destroy everything, what was the whole point? So I think they have to hold them off until the message ends, unless it's like a dummy and is bouncing off somewhere else. Kamabaka, who knows? Things are getting really intense. Also, we cannot forget about the history of what's going on. It's already happened. It's already been known as the Egghead incident. So the Straw Hat survived, they escaped, and major things happened. Kizaru aside, I know a lot of people predicting that Kizaru dies or Kizaru helps them. To me, what makes the most sense is Kizaru somewhat doubling down. And if he dies, it's not going to be for the Straw Hats necessarily, just because we need that body. So for me, what makes the most sense for the narrative? For Kizaru, if he dies, that weakens the world government immensely, I think. And for the final war, maybe it's just headcanon. I have it in my head that all the Admirals are going to have to be there. The Gorosei are going to have to take part. All the God Knight. We're going to need all hands on deck. Guys, they did not fire Fujitora after attacking Green Bull because he was trying to stop slaves from escaping. They did not fire Fujitora after he told the world, hey, we f***ed up. Well, Flamingo, that's our fault. I'm going to bow prostrate to King Riku and apologize, which is essentially bowing to the world and telling them, hey, we up. That's not something that they fired him for. But for Kizaru, who, by the way, accomplished his goal, they're gonna fire. No. I think we need him. I'm gonna say we, the story in regards to his firepower. And honestly, he'd be a great fight for some of the Straw Hats or Sanji in the future. I think he would. So it's just like, he's too valuable, I think, to just kill him off. And Oda, he doesn't really do that. Even Vegapunk, I don't think Vegapunk's dead. I mean, I think the body could be, right? I guess Stella, but the consciousness, that's still alive and well. My idea was that he lives on forever as something like Jarvis, and he becomes somewhat the Jarvis of the Straw Hats until they get to Elbaf, and then he goes to the library in Elbaf and he becomes the AI there. Or my headcanon for the end of the story is Robin. She opens up a library herself, and Vegapunk could be the AI voice that's somewhat directing or controlling that library as well. So I guess my main thing for Luffy at this point is just outlasting. I'm low-key tired of the Gear 5 breaks and the Gear 5 drawback, but I understand why it's necessary. It's just to add some more tension. Maybe Oda gives the Elbaf Giants some more time to shine because he'd have to protect Luffy. Let's let Gear 5 go off for a little bit, okay? Because I'm not gonna lie, guys, how I feel now is that I hope the manga goes crazy because I get to see it all in the anime, and the animation for Gear 5 has been slapping, literally and figuratively. So I'm just like, bro, keep it going. Next, something that I'm hoping for, Zoro and Noshijuro, a meeting, an interaction, something. I want Zoro to see that blade, which we assume to be Shodai Kitetsu, and Zoro sees it and he's like, I'm gonna get that blade one day. And this again changes so much perspective because narratively, if Shodai Kitetsu is something that Zoro sets his eyes on, I don't see him fighting Mihawk until he gets that blade. And obviously he doesn't fight Mihawk until they beat the world government and he beats the Gorosei, then he gets the blade, and then so on and so forth. Mihawk then gets more hype because he's fighting Mihawk after fighting the Gorosei. That's why I don't understand people underrating or underestimating Mihawk, because there's so much narrative relevance to him being just a superpower that, guys, we cannot not continue to undermine this man. I think his bounty spoke volumes considering that he was not a Yonko or is not a Yonko. No crew solo dolo. 3 bill? Come on. I need an interaction. I need something from those guys. Can you tell that I'm excited for the future of One Piece? There's a lot that I want to talk about. I think more character stuff. Garp is somebody that's been on my mind lately. Just him as a character and his future. Kizaru, his future as well. I think a lot of the Marines. I think even my stance has changed in regards to Big Mom and Kaido. So we're going to get to that. And then there's something about Yamato I want to talk about that some people, you guys are going to want to hear this. But for right now, people that didn't read spoilers, leave your thoughts below in regards to what you think is going to happen in chapter 1112. I'm excited. We're all excited. One Piece is, you know what? Screw it. The One Piece is back and we're here for it. So guys, again, thoughts below, like and subscribe. Check out the Patreon as well below. A lot of great stuff on there. And we'll catch you next one.